Lovely stuff. Oh, I've got you rested on a spinning chair and it keeps spinning round. Better. Okay, fab, lovely. Right, well, welcome this evening. Like I say, shoulders to start, so we'll come to stand and then we'll make ourselves some space to come down onto the mat. So make sure you've got a good bit of space around you. And as always with our classes, choose your options wisely, take rest as often as you need to, and feel free to kind of bob in and out, come and have a little look at the demonstration and then join in as well. So we're just going to start in standing. We're going to start with some nice big rolls through the shoulders because we are going to be working these necks, upper backs and shoulder area this evening. So just rolling the shoulders up and then melting them round and down. And as you bring your focus to your shoulders, let's see if we can think about combining some breathing with this movement. So we're breathing in as the shoulders come up and out as they come down, and really try and release the tension from the neck and shoulders as you exhale. Breathing in, up, out, down. Really enjoy that movement. Such a simple movement, but really, really beautiful for releasing tension around the neck and shoulders. And also I want you to visualize how your shoulder blades are moving around your rib cage. They're kind of like doing like a nice circular motion up, round and down. Lovely. Two more. And then we use this next one to really set that shoulder position. So imagine you're trying to tuck your shoulder blades down into your back pockets. And as you do so, create length along your collarbones. So it's really about opening this part of the top of the shoulders, the front of the body really. And then we're just going to bring our focus to that gentle drawing in of the tummy just below your belly button. So drawing in and holding that tension as if you've just tightened up your belt buckle a little bit. Okay, holding that tension. We continue to breathe as we float the arms up just to shoulder height and then keeping that tension as we lower down. So really slow movements to really focus on connecting the deep core with that shoulder movement. And I also want you to observe what's going on around this shoulder area. So making sure that as the hands float up, the shoulders don't creep up as well. So it's almost thinking the shoulder blades travel down as the hands come up. Fab. So not too heavy, but lots to think about if we're moving well. Lovely. Okay, once more. Breathing deeply still. And then on this next one, we're going to hold that position. So hands just in front of shoulders. Make sure that your kind of posture hasn't collapsed into that position. So still lengthening through the collarbones. A gentle lift through your breastbone. And just keep that tummy gently drawn in as we hold. So really connecting the core into the shoulders. As we keep holding, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Now just bending the elbows. Keep the elbows at shoulder height. And what we're going to do is we're going to imagine these arms are double doors. So we're going to open the doors, draw the elbows to the side of the body, flat palms, and then we're going to close the doors in front of our face. So we open, slide the doors open, and aim to keep those elbows at shoulder height. So try not to let those arms get heavy and those elbows drop down. We're trying to make this lovely 90-degree bend through the elbow at the height of the shoulders. Lovely. Now keep that tummy gently drawn in. What we want to avoid is those ribs flaring forwards as the shoulders open and close. And at any point, if you need to, you'll feel those arms starting to get heavy, drop them down, give them a shake through, and then join back in. I think everybody's here now. Good to see you all. Lovely stuff. Okay, 2 more like this. Good work. Everybody's doing a really nice job of keeping those elbows lifted. Beautiful. And then we're going to take those arms out to the side, palms facing forwards. Gently drawing in through the lower tummy, and we're going to pulse those arms now. So you're just bringing those arms towards the back of the room. So you're opening up the fronts of the shoulders and really using this part of your back now. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Squeeze as if you're trying to get your shoulder blades to meet in the middle of your spine. Lovely. Keep those elbows at shoulder height. Try not to let them drop down. Better. Keep pulsing for 5, 4. Those arms should feel heavy now. 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Close the doors and just bring those arms down. Roll through your shoulders. Beautiful work. Okay. We're going to move on from here. So we're going to go back to that same position. Elbows bent, open the doors, really focusing in on how the shoulder blades articulate with arms. So just one arm at a time, really sink the shoulder blade down into the back pocket, engaging your core as you slide one hand to reach up towards the ceiling. Then we bend the elbow, drop the shoulder, hand back down, and we swap and repeat on the opposite side. So really easy to kind of just think, oh, well, I'm just reaching up, and you kind of lose that control around this area here. But just notice shoulders down as the arm travels up. You have to work really hard to anchor that shoulder blade down as your fingers creep up. So we're really using the mid-back here, really using the control and muscles around your neck and shoulders. Good work. Super. Okay, we take it from those single reaches and we come into the double now. So keep that tummy gently drawn in as we reach both hands up and then lower down. Beautiful. Same again, both hands up and lower down. Good. Keep it going. Well done. Really dissociating those two areas then. So shoulder blades slide down your back as your hands reach up. Long necks. You should have the necks exposed throughout, even as those hands come up. Okay, we're going to add a squat in now. So as we reach up with the hands, we're going to sit down into our squat, pressing into the floor, push back to stand. Lovely. Same again. We've got 8 of these. 8. Now, as those hands come up, we are going to push the hips back, which means the shoulders come forwards, but don't lose that lovely long neck. 7. Thinking about your squats, make sure your knees are in line with your second toe and not passing over the front of your foot. Good stuff. Well done. 6 more. Nice and deep if you can with those squats. Not a huge amount on the legs this evening. 5. Keep that tummy gently drawn in. Gentle reminder. 3, 5, 3. Oh, you got one lost for 3 then. 3, 2. Okay, we're going to hold this next one. So you can keep it shallow or you can go a little bit deeper. So we're in the squat. The arms are above the head. Tummy is drawn up to spine. And we hold here, option 1. Option 2, we take these arms and we pulse them to the top of the room. So you should really feel all of this posterior shoulder working hard now to create that small pulsing movement. Why does it feel so hard? We're working against gravity and we fatigue these arms. So we pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Well done. Come down and give those arms a little roll and shake 3. Good work, everybody. Tough one there. Okay, we're going to come down onto the mat now. So we'll do a roll down. So if you want to stand at the end of your mat, take your time. Really see if you can get every segment of your spine to move. I know you guys are happy with your roll downs now, so I'm just going to let you work into them. But as always, just take the first few nice and steadily. Try not to overstretch. Use your connection with your breathing to help your body to open up. That breath sends such a powerful message to our nervous system, and it tells us just to come out of this fight or flight mode that we're often in. And as we come into our rest mode, it sends signals to the muscles, allowing them to lengthen and the joints just naturally open as well. So if you're finding yourself holding your breath, you're never going to move well. Really important to inhale and exhale, and finding that length at the end of an exhale. So maybe you're able to coordinate your breath so that you get to the bottom and you can breathe out. And as you do a few of these, just notice any areas that feel a little bit stiffer as you work through your spine, and take your time to really focus on every bone in the area that isn't moving quite so well, because we often find these kind of blocks of stiffness through our spines where things have kind of tightened up with time. And then often what happens is the segments above or below then have to work a little bit harder, and that's where we find things become a little bit sore in the back. So we're just trying to evenly distribute that movement. Beautifully done, well done. Okay, we're going to take this one, we're going to hang in it a little bit longer, so peel down through your spine. When you get to the bottom, enjoy that forwards fold. Can you breathe a little deeper? Imagining that your fingers are just drawing you down to the floor. Your hands are hanging heavily off the ends of your arms. Maybe bringing a little bit more weight into the front of the feet just to feel that stretch a little bit more deeply through the backs of the legs, but only if it works for you. And we just enjoy one more breath here before we bend the knees and we come down onto our mats into rest position. Okay, just giving you a moment to adjust and find your rest position. So lying on your back with your knees bent. Once you're there, feel free to start yourself off with some pelvic tilting. So finding that space between your lower back and the mat, and then gently pressing into it as if there was a sponge there, and you're squashing the sponge and then easing off that sponge before you squash down again. And I know this is quite a simple movement, but I really do think it's important to come back to this movement all the time, really working into the lower back. And also it gives us a feeling of the two extremes of movement that our lower back can do. And often what happens is when we lose control around the pelvis and lower spine, we either end up completely flattening the back or completely arching the back. And when we work through these exercises, we want to always be in that sweet spot somewhere in the middle. So can you find that neutral spine for me now? A very light pressure with your lower back on your sponge, breathing in to prepare, and then as you breathe out, just gently drawing in with your lower tummy towards your spine. So finding that connection with your center, your deep core. And then we're going to place an imaginary tray of drinks on our waist. So keeping your waist nice and level. Center is set. We're going to take the left knee and allow it to slowly fall out to the side, opening up the hip on that left side. As that left knee falls out to the side, make sure your right hip doesn't start to lift off the floor. So really pressing the right hip down so that our tray of drinks stays nice and level. And then we draw that left knee back into center, keeping the tummy drawn into the spine. And then we take it across to the second side. So now the left knee is steady and the right knee is falling out to the side. I'm just going to show you that kind of different camera angle. So one knee is still, anchoring that non-moving leg into the floor as the opposite leg falls out to the side. So in terms of strength, we don't need a huge amount of strength. This is all about control. So you can let your knee drop out to the side and your opposite hip hitches off the floor with it, but that's not what the aim is. It's control through the non-moving leg and creating as much movement as you can with the moving leg, but the goal is not to move the leg too much. It's about holding that stability, keeping that connection with your core as you move in and out of that lovely hip twist. Good stuff, well done. Placing one of those drinks resting on your tray on the leg that isn't moving. Good work, everybody. From what I can see, it looks like we've nailed this. So this is your first option, okay? second option, we're going to take the non-moving leg into a tabletop. So you've got less support with your feet on the mat. So left leg floats into tabletop, and then the right leg opens out into a hip twist. We draw the right leg back in, and then we swap tabletop. Okay, so same movement, but your leg is now floating into a tabletop rather than being rested on the floor. So we can't anchor the foot down now. We've really got to work on finding that stability in the back of the hip. Yeah, so your tabletop leg stays still once it's lifted, and still the opposite hip and knee rotate out. So have a little look if you're not too sure. We've got 3 more on each side, with or without the tabletop. Still focusing in on that connection with your core. 2 more, beautiful tabletop, Pat. I just looked at the screen, I could see that wonderful tabletop. Good work, that's it. Yeah, Helen, nice. So hands on the top of the pelvis can give you a little bit of feedback as well to make sure things are staying nice and level. Level shelf for your tray of drinks to rest. Beautiful. Yeah, Ivana looks good. Well done, Elle, good option. Emma, I can just see the top of your foot, but it looks fab. Well done. That's great, Claire. Well done, Isabel. Yeah, looking good. Okay, we're going to hold this next one. So you've got your leg in a twist. So the hip twist is where the knee drops out to the side. And maybe you've got the opposite leg on the floor, or maybe you've got it in a tabletop position. So something like this, or like this, and we hold here. The legs don't move. Now we move the arms. We bring the hands up towards the ceiling and then slowly reach them over to the top of the mat. Imagine you're holding a beach ball. Hold that position. Now, can you make sure that your ribs haven't sprung up towards the ceiling as you hold that beach ball overhead? And soon enough, that beach ball starts to feel a little heavier, as if it's been filled with sand. But we keep holding. So we've got one leg in tabletop, one leg floated out to the side, and then hands above the head. Tabletop is optional. Keep holding, connecting that tummy to spine, resting at any point if you need to. Otherwise, we're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Bring the knee back to center. Replace the tabletop foot on the mat if you were there, and then we take it over to the second side. So the opposite knee falls away now, maybe adding that second leg into a tabletop, holding that lower limb position. Then we take the hands and we reach them over to the top of the mat. Again, try not to let that rib cage spring up towards the ceiling. We're connecting deeply with the core. Tummy to spine should feel the tummy working as it holds the weight of your arms and holds and controls your hips and legs. Beautiful work. Watching those shoulders haven't crept up with your hands. Long necks as we did in our warm-ups. Perfect work, everybody. 5. These look great. 4, 3. Well done, Liz. 2, and 1. Super coming in and then just giving yourselves a hug. Well done. Good work, everybody. Okay, we're going to draw in now on the tummies and kind of that idea of the hands coming up and over. We've got 2 options here. So choose the option that works for you. We'll all start with option 1 and then progress on if we feel we can manage. Option 2 is very tricky. Okay. So again, have a little look at the screen. What we're going to be working on is this idea of bringing the hands up and over. And as they come over, we really want to make sure that the back doesn't arch. So it's all about keeping this gentle flattening idea with the back into the mat. So drawing the tummy into the spine, we bring the hands up and over. And then we bring the hands back to the side. And then we reach the fingertips towards the bottom of the mat as we peel the head and shoulders off, keeping that tummy drawn in. Then we lower back down, head and shoulders, and we reach up and over. So it's all about working these abs through their full range of motion, shortening them as we float the head and shoulders off the mat, and lengthening them as we reach our hands over to the top. And it's all about these ribs, really. So as the hands come up and over, we don't want the ribs to lift off the mat. And as the hands reach down, we want the ribs to shorten towards the pelvis. So it's all about that contraction, that connection of ribs to pelvis. Don't lose that connection as the hands come up and over. And then can you strengthen that connection as you bring your hands down towards the bottom of the mat? As we lift up. Okay, this is option 1. Option 2 looks exactly the same, but we rest the legs in a tabletop position, double tabletop, so both feet off the mat, feet and knees stacked on top of, knees stacked on top of the hips, squeeze the knees together. And for those of you that want an in-between option, you can lightly rest your heels on the seat of your sofa or a dining chair or a bed, depending on where you are. Okay, so option 2, double tabletop. Option 1, feet resting down on the mat. Let me see how you're getting on. These are tricky, so take a rest any point if you need to. They look great, they're well done. Beautiful. And it's super slow. We don't need to do many of these. Hopefully you're already feeling that lovely strong connection with your core muscles. Tummy's working hard. We've got 4 more. Exhale at the point where you feel most effort. So that's probably when you get to the top of that overhead reach and when you get to the end of that head shoulder lift. We've got 3 more. Two more. Really focusing in on that rib cage still. Don't let that beautiful form go just because we're getting tired. 1 more. And then we hold at the bottom. So you're reaching towards the bottom of the mat. The head and shoulders is lifted. Your feet are on the floor or you're in double tabletop. We turn the palms down to face the floor and we take it into hundreds from here. So pulse. Now make sure your chin isn't squashed into your chest. Got a juicy peach between your chin and your chest. And you're looking above your knees, both positions with the feet down or the feet lifted. And we keep pulsing, drawing into the tummy, holding those knees towards the chest at any point if you need to. L, do what you can. You are safe to do these though with the feet on the floor. I'm sure you've chose that option. Okay, we're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Coming down, bring those knees in and gently rock from side to side. Good work. Lots and lots of tummy stuff there. Well done. Okay. Little bit of lateral hip work from here. So I'm going to get you to turn onto your sides now. So as with this, we've got 2 options, but the start position is slightly different. So I think the best way we do it is we'll do option 1 and then we'll go into option 2 and you can come to option 2 or you can stay with option 1. So option 1, we start lying on the side with the bottom knee bent, top leg straight. Okay, we're going to take it into some side leg lifts. So nice and simple, but I really want you to think about lengthening your pelvis and you're away from your rib cage. So this top line of the body is nice and long and not short and curved. Okay, so we're lifting the leg just to hip height. For those of you that like that kind of idea of engaging the pelvic floor, this is a good one to do it with. So as the leg lifts, just gently tighten the back passage, front passage, and then release as you lower. Make sure you've completely released, even if that means pausing at the bottom. And you should start to feel that warm glow now building on the outside of the top leg. Now, we're not going to do too many of these because we are going to do it 2 rounds. So after this next one, we're going to lift and hold. And then we're going to imagine that we've got a table in front of us, a low coffee table. And we're just going to slide the inside of the leg along the coffee table and then bring it back. Now, it's up to you how big your coffee table is. You might have a really small coffee table and you're just bringing your leg just a couple of inches forwards. We lower down, we lift, and we go again. The most important thing here is that the foot always stays in line with the hip. So no wonky coffee tables. And if that's tricky to do, then just make your coffee table a little bit smaller. And if you really struggle with this, a way of making it a little bit easier is as the leg comes forwards, just bend the knee slightly. So the movement comes from the hip. So you're just shortening that lever. Okay, we've got 4 more. Let's see how you're getting on with those. Wonderful for lateral hips, this. And it's all about that connection of kind of that alignment of making sure that your hips, your knees and your feet are in line. But they are tiring. I get it. 2 more. And 1, lovely. And then we're just going to go back to that long side position and we're just going to finish with some pulses. So whatever you've got left for this first round, we just do a small pulsing action as if you're using the little bone on the side of your foot, on your ankle bone, to tap a switch on the ceiling. Keep pulsing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good stuff. Okay, resting down. Hopefully you're already feeling that glow that we build up in the side of the hip, but hopefully you've got a little bit left. Let's do the other side and then I'll introduce the second option for those of you that wish to give it a go. Okay, so second side, same again, bottom leg bent, top leg straight, and remember you can kind of support your head on your hand or you can use your arm to rest, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And then when you're ready, long side of the body, push your hip away from your rib cage and begin to lift and lower. Take a glance down at that top leg and just make sure that it's sitting in line with your hip. Yeah, it's not forwards. You should just be able to kind of see the tips of your toes really. And we want the whole of the leg to lift, so don't let that foot just flop off at the bottom and don't let your toes point down either. If anything, just rotate your foot outwards slightly so your little toe is lifting up towards the ceiling. We've got 2 more. Pelvic floor working to lift and releasing to lower. And 1 more, lovely. And then we hold at the top and we take it back into that slide. Slide your leg along your coffee table. That should feel really, really tricky. If it's not, chances are your leg's dropping down, yeah? So we don't want that foot to come down. We want to keep it in line with the hip as the leg travels forwards. Just a reminder, if that's really hard for you, bend the knee slightly as the hip comes up and then straighten it as the leg goes down. We've got 3 more. 2 more. Take your time with them. Well done, Ivana, looks good. And 1. And then hold that leg out to the side and we finish with the pulses. 5. Well done, everyone. 4. Looks great, guys. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, have a little rest. Okay, round 2. So we're going to do exactly the same again. So if you've got any sort of lateral hip discomfort or problems with your outside of your knees, you might find that that's enough to work again. So same sequence of movement. So just flip over onto your opposite side. If you want to give the next option a try, then what we do is we come into a high kneeling position. So it's a little bit more full body. We're going to get the shoulders working as well. And we take it out into our side prop. So you keep one leg out to the side and then you rest down on the opposite hand. Now, if your floor feels really far away from you, what you can do is just bolster your hand up on a couple of pillows, a book, or leaning into the sofa or something like that. But we're aiming to get the hand flat on the floor, or maybe lean into your wrist, to your fist. Okay, so you've got this top leg long now. So we're in this same kind of idea of one long leg, and we're going to work this long leg. Okay, so leg lift. So you're either lying on your side or you're in this high kneeling position, and we come back to these leg lifts. Now this is harder because we're in a slightly different range of movement now. We're right at the top of the range, which is where we tend to be weakest, which is why it's quite hard. Push away from the hand that's resting on the floor. So you're being really strong in that shoulder. And you're trying to keep this hip in line with this knee, so you're not collapsing away. Good stuff. Well done. We've got 2 more. And if you're regretting your decision, feel free to lie on your side. And 1 more. Okay, then we add that coffee table slide. So we lift the leg, we slide forwards, backwards, and we lower. It's tough, isn't it? Yeah, so lift, slide, back, and down. Just a reminder for those of you who are resting on your side, you can still be working incredibly hard here. Better to do this and really feel it than be up here and not really have good technique, okay? And with this side option as well, you can bring the knee forwards, bend the knee and lengthen. Can we do 2 more? Slowing it down. And 1 more. Good work. Keep that head lifted in line with your spine. And then we pause and we pulse just at the end, just whatever you've got left in the tank. This is it for your leg before we do the other side. Pausing, pulsing for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done, coming out of that position. Oh, and back into the middle and up and across to your second side. It's been so long since we've done that high kneeling side kick exercise. So well done if you got through. It's a tricky one. Okay, so up and over to the second side. So either lying on your side or in your kneeling position, finding one leg extended out to the side and the opposite hand on the mat, trying to have that sort of hand shoulder height. Now, just a key with the head, make sure your head doesn't hang down. I know it's hard, but try and keep that line throughout the whole of your spine. Okay, last little push now. We've not got very long. So side leg lifts, either in side lying or in this lovely side prop position. It should feel like your leg is 10 times heavier as we lift off the mat. And remember, you don't have to be here. You can be resting on your side. Beautifully done. That's it, lovely Emma. Yeah, lifting that head in line with your spine. Lovely. Okay, we'll do 3 more lifts. Well done, everyone. The positioning on that side prop looks great, and well done if you're inside lying as well. Okay, we're going to take it and we're going to slide our leg along our coffee table. So either inside lying or propped up on your hand. We slide the leg forwards and we lower, and feel free, yeah, absolutely come down onto your side if you need to. Sometimes you can do a little bit of it and then your body says, no more, thank you. Okay, 4 more slides. Last little push now this evening, and then the rest of the day is yours. And you can go into your evening knowing that you've spent some time working hard on your body. 2 more. Lovely. Okay, now we're going to lift and we're going to hold, or we're going to finish with our pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. Coming down. Let's just take it onto the backs and just bring the knees into the chest, just to kind of stretch the lower back out and get a little bit of a hip stretch. Not a huge hip stretch, but just a little bit of movement for the back of the hips. Maybe rocking from side to side. I did about 1/3 of what you guys did, and I can feel that in my hips, so well done. I hope you enjoyed that sequence, although I know it is tough, and good luck to you guys if you're coming to see me on Thursday as well. You've got that twice this week. Okay, fab stuff. So we're finished for this evening. Please do feel free to find a little bit more time to stretch out if you need to, or just focus on some breathing.